an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right.
What the? He's a
Democratic
president. He's saying illegal.
But look, under hospitals, they can
Who made the humanitarian crisis?
More, and others around the world.
That's it. The big gamba is whether he dies on stage or not. I don't think, fortunately for everyone, he's not going to. I think they might use the best adrenochrome they got today, but still. It's crazy to think about that, like, definitionally, this is the most evil room on the planet in the history of mankind. When you think about it, the State of the Union has the most consequential evil people on the planet in one room. Like, actually, we got NBC locked in. We got CNN locked in. We got the markets. I'm going to close all the other tabs because guess what? It's State of the Union time, baby. Bro, this is ground zero for COVID, dog. The aisle people are glazing. Yeah, dude. Yo, dick riding this hard, bro. Chill. Okay, bro, whatever. He's the president. Calm down, okay? Oh my God, he's balding so hard. That hair transplant did not hit, dude.
He now is facing so much heat, so much fire, this impeachment push from House Republicans. There's a lot of drama in this room. There's some tension.
Good evening. If I were smart, I'd go home now. My fellow Americans, a former Republican president tells Putin, quote, do whatever the hell you want. That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable.
His mouth is shaking. What the? Yo, he's gumming. He's gumming, dude. Look at these little shits. They're so mad.
My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus with a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned her ability to act, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening to too many others. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century.
COVID.
Remember the fear, record losses? Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus? A president, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable.
What the f was that?
I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history.
What the f was that
we
noise?
have. During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America. Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree.
So far, this is a pretty good speech.
And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new projects have been announced all across your communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. If any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernize our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing
Mike Johnson liked that one. He 100%. That was a good line. If any of those of you that don't want that money, let me know. That's a good bar. That's a bar. You know it's good when these babies start crying like this. You know the speech is good.
Here tonight is UAW President Shawn Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Shawn, where are you? Stand up. Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class.
Say workers, motherfucker. Say workers built the country. Middle class is a bullshit designation. It's workers that built the country.
I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years.
That's crazy. Oh my God, a Republican's gonna say he's buying votes. That's actually wild. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, but like, good that he's lying at least.
We're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass.
Bro said we're deregulating building.
2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down.
Good to present it as like going up against big business and big landlords. Obviously, that's not the reality, but still good to like even try to message it
Remain the
positively.
strongest economy in the world. We need to have the best education system in the world.
For the record, everything he's promising he's not going to do, this is how State of the Unions work. Daily Wire only has 20K people watching, and Ben called out someone saying you're bigger than him on chat law. Let's go! We're back! He's slaying a minute. I do. Look, I'm a fair motherfucker, bro. I mean, he's lying, but at least he's lying. The bar is very low, but like, honestly, he's clearing it right now. He's actually the bar.
So students get hands-on experience and a path to good paying job, whether or not they go to college. And I want to make sure the college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, including Hispanic institutions.
Bro, we've been begging for him to do the bare minimum, and he's finally doing it.
Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair? Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? I sure don't.
Dude, he's really.
I'm going to keep fighting like this.
He ain't doing this shit at all. Okay,
Nobody
let's
now
be real.
one penny.
The
Teacher,
Republicans
sanitation
so
worker,
mad he's on billionaires.
Raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations that engage in price gouging and deceptive pricing, from food to healthcare to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer.
He's coming after Kanye. He said
Put
Kanye's
fewer
wrong.
chips in it.
They made the Twix bars smaller.
Snickers bars. You get to charge the same amount, and you got about, I don't know, 10% fewer Snickers in it.
They took the dick vein out.
I'm also getting.
They're booing him. He's losing it.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of thousands of people being killed by illegals?
What the
f?
He's a Democratic president.
I understand.
He's saying illegal.
But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country.
You said they're illegal to the murder.
I know who we are as Americans. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, and ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all Americans.
Bro, it's going to be hard to fix that previous statement. Like he brought a button with him to be like, an illegal murdered this person.
To state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today than when I took office. The year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then, through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against, I might add, we made the largest investment in public safety ever. Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East.
Oh,
The last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. And 250 hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. But Israel has Israel has a added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to protect innocent civilians in Gaza. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocents, women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released, to get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring
who made the humanitarian crisis?
The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day.
Him, dude. Fuck him.
I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America is falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills, but there's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online. Harness the promise of AI to protect us from peril. Ban AI voice impersonations and more. And keep our truly sacred obligation to train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't. Let me close with this. I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsay, but I got to say a few more things. I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while. When you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever. I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation, between those who want to pull America back to the past and those who want to move America into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality, to respect everyone, to give everyone a fair shot, to give hate no safe harbor. Now, other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution, that's not me. I see a country for all Americans, and I will always be president for all Americans, because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And there is nothing.
Will he actually attack the ridge? No, of course not, bro. What are you, crazy?
When we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
No, he's not going to. He's not going to. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you quickly about the Palestine thing. He hit the center in his mind, and it's good enough for liberals, and they will literally be like, look how presidential he is. Look how phenomenal he is. High notes. He was very high energy. He outperformed expectations by the widest of margins. He did not die. There were obviously flubs and gaps. I think I counted like 7 or 8 solid ones. Overall, a lot of great domestic policy that he pushed for, a lot of great domestic policy that he promised. Really, really solid. Overall, definitely outperformed expectations. Very solid speech overall. Very energized, very dynamic. You have to admit that. Obviously, it's the expectations that we had that play a role in this, but it's important in the way that the American population sees them. He rose to the moment and he actually delivered. If I'm a regular normie liberal and I like see bits and pieces of this, the high notes are going to be Republicans being unruly, stupid, and Biden actually doing a phenomenal job, because liberal media will eat this and will go crazy over it. They're going to talk about this like he is the next God King. Jesus Christ is delivered. Biden is back. Biden is dynamic. Biden is out of control. He really showed it. He really stuck it to the man. And he did. In some ways, he did. He really did stick it to the man, as far as like talking about billionaires, talking about this, talking about that, talking about trust busting big landlords. That's a way to try to massage the narrative, of course. But the fact that he's bringing up landlords to begin with in a negative fashion, even while they're simultaneously talking about like big landlords, which, you know, it's whatever the fuck he means by that, who knows. And of course, even though none of the things that he promised he's going to do, he's actually going to end up doing, doesn't matter. Those are all going to play big. This Joe Biden, is a very different Joe Biden than the one that you see all the time. The tax credit for $100 for home buyers, that sort of stuff. All of that is like great policy, not going to work. Obviously, it's not going to pass. But the fact that they're even lying about it is a good thing. Okay, it's a good thing. That's how low the bar is. That like the Democrats had given up until this moment in even lying about good things that they have done or will do for the American public. It made me lose my mind. It made me want to rip my goddamn hair out. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? So the fact that they're even lying is decent for their prospects, decent for their future prospects, their electoral prospects in general. Now, having said that, obviously, while he does look relatively dynamic here, it still doesn't matter. He's still very old. Okay. One of the things that he definitely lost here is the people that were interested in potentially maybe voting for him, that won't vote for him, that were iffy on him, that is under the age of like 35. He's going to have, in my opinion, historic lows as far as like the under 35 demographic of voters, because the reality is you have to be an ultra Zionist at this point and genuinely dedicated like a Fedayeen to the Democratic Party's cause. You have to be like Harry Sasson or one of those TikTok guys to look at what he had to say about Palestine and go, brilliant, bold, beautiful. Now you're going to hear that a lot on television. Immediately after this speech, everyone's going to go on TV and try to be the first to be like, guys, look at how much of a elderly statesman he is. He's so phenomenal. Other low notes that I personally despised, okay? The very notion that he picked up the button that he got from Marjorie Taylor Greene, pulled it up, and he said, an illegal killed this person. Done. That is so bad. It's going to play so poorly, okay? I know the point he was trying to make. He didn't deliver it adequately. He tried to say, what about the thousands of legal murders, right? Something along those lines. He was trying to say that. The illegal line will f*** him. Okay, we're talking Arizona. We're talking Nevada. We're talking places where he's not doing well. Okay, places that he won last time that he's most likely not going to win this time. You say illegal murders are responsible for this person. Even when you're trying to salvage the situation, it's hard to come back from. You are the Democratic Party's leader. You can't be using the illegal murder line. Like, that's a Republican. That's the most reactionary Republican. Donald Trump says illegal murders. That's crazy. I know the point he was trying to make, okay, in the most charitable way possible. Pretty sure he was trying to say there are thousands of people, thousands more people killed by natural born U.S. citizens. You do not care about the murder of Americans or something along those lines. Like, it's something that I say all the time. It's just the reality. The reality is that undocumented immigrants are responsible for significantly less murders per capita than natural born U.S. citizens. If he was trying to say that, he boofed it. He boofed it. Like, but dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Even Trump says migrant crime, which is more racist in some ways. Yeah. Maybe everybody knows this, but the word illegal as a reference to illegal immigrants was struck from the Democratic dictionary many years ago. I was shocked to see him go there to make a case for this bill. Straight up. This is what I mean. Democratic rep from Deep Blue Majority Latino seat criticizing Biden's language. No human being is illegal. You can't fucking say that. Biden picking up the Laken Riley button and going forward. First genuinely surprising SOTU moment in quite some time. That was an insane flub. Like an unimaginable flub. That will get a lot of fucking play, by the way. Guess what they'll do? Guess what the Republicans will do? They'll show that moment of him saying an illegal killed this woman, right? And they'll play that and go, even Biden recognizes that illegal migrant crime is a massive problem. What does that do? That normalizes in the minds of Americans, both reactionary and moderate, that migrants are responsible for murders and crimes at an unimaginably high rate. You can never do that. You can never, ever, ever do that. He turned around and tried to fix it by continuing along with the narrative and being like, you know, America's a nation of immigrants. Like, it's great. That's all he should have said. He should have never, ever said that. Very significant. Liberals care about aesthetics. That is a massive aesthetic problem. And ding, ding, ding. Marjorie Taylor Greene just bullied Biden into saying Lincoln Riley was killed by an illegal. 11,000 likes already. And wokeness. I mean, Twitter likes are not really representative of anything, but there you go. It is already happening. When you're the motherfucker president, you cannot make mistakes like that. He's oldest and his brain is doo-doo. Anyway, that's a very massive, very significant flub. It's not even a flub. I think he's just a racist piece of shit. Now, let's get to Palestine, okay? A lot of people of color in this country that are diehard, designated Democratic Party voters. They care about this. We're not just talking about Michigan. We're not just talking about Minneapolis. Very, very important issue for a lot of young voters, black voters, obviously the entirety of the Arab vote, and the entirety of the Muslim vote. The fact that after 30,000 murders have occurred where Israel has killed 25,000 plus women and children, the fact that after all of that for the past 5 months, Biden still opens up with Hamas, October 7, and relitigating the same exact over and over and over again, as though that is the most significant violence that occurred. I'm sorry, the numbers don't add up. He also relitigated the sexual violence, the mass sexual violence, making just reaffirming the New York Times reporting October 7 screams without words. This is something that he already had done. He did the 40 babies that were decapitated lie. He did that literally personally, said that he doesn't trust the Hamas-backed health ministry numbers. Like, so many instances where he has, like, as the president, done things that no president is supposed to do, like things that even Trump would do, just things that you would expect only Trump to do. Him saying he's a Zionist is fine. He's going to say that. We already know that anyway. His actions speak louder than words. What he should be using is his bona fides as a Zionist to say enough is enough, cut it out. That is what the actual reasonable, centered, grounded approach would be in this. Make no mistake. You need to understand something here. I was expecting him to at least say something along the lines of, I'm a Zionist. My whole life I've been a Zionist. I was born before the state of Israel was even a thing, and I've been a supporter of the state of Israel in perpetuity. That much is clear. And even I see what is going on the ground in Gaza, and I cannot look away. We have to put a stop to this. Enough is enough. That's something along those lines, okay? Saying something like Israel has a right to defend itself, but this has gone too far and the entire world can see it. Something along those lines. He should have said that. That would have still reaffirmed his commitment to Israel without coming across like a psychotic, bloodthirsty goddamn monster. See, but liberals already picked up on it. And liberals are already running defense saying he said 30,000 innocents were killed. He didn't say that. Said many of them are, some of them are women and children, something along those lines. I hope you understand. There's going to be a lot of people in the right-wing side that even go after him for saying what he said so far. Liberals, on the other hand, are going to run defense for him and make it seem like he actually hit a very centrist line and that he is an elderly statesman who does care. Yeah. He said, Rami Mardini is 100% correct. This is very important. Pay attention. He said 1,200 innocent Israelis were killed, but he said 30,000 were mostly not Hamas. Those words are important. That is nowhere near enough. 25,000 women and children. Get the f out of here, dude. He also said that he prefaced it by claiming that Israel, one, has a right to defend itself, which, by the way, legally it does not. As a belligerent occupier, Israel does not have a right to blow Gaza into smithereens. Just make no mistake on that front. I hope that everybody understands my position here. Israel does not have a right to defend itself by blowing up Gaza. That is illegal. He not only said that, but also said Israel has to do it because Hamas is using human shields. That is a way to basically manufacture the narrative or reaffirm the narrative that Israel is simply, one, engaging in defensive posture, which it has a legal right to do, even though that's false, it does not. And two, is doing it only because Hamas is using human shields. That is a direct bar for bar Zionist line. It's ridiculous. He was trying to appeal to Republicans, moron. Shut the up. 54% of Republicans want a ceasefire. 77% of Americans want a ceasefire. He is not appealing to anyone. Unless you're talking about people in Israel, unless you're talking about Republicans inside of the borders of Israel proper, he is not appealing to the Americans by saying this. That is ridiculous. Majority of Republicans support a ceasefire at this point. Why do you think we got here? How do you think we got here? The death and destruction is unimaginable. I know that the older you get in the demographics that do vote, the less you give a shit, the more you can look away. Just because a lot of people want a ceasefire doesn't mean that that's going to be the single issue that they vote for. But a lot of young voters, which Biden desperately needs to win this election, are not going to look away. I do think overall it's entirely in the hands of the media and how they cover it now. If they cover this by glancing over the Israel-Palestine stuff, which they probably won't because it is a pretty big deal and the media does care about ratings and what people care about to a certain degree, especially if there's enough stink on it, they will bring this up. Right-wingers will say Biden is an enemy to the state of Israel. He's an anti-Semite. Liberal media overall will defend him and say he's doing a phenomenal job. Look at how wonderful he is. He is so dynamic. He is a dynamo. He is unstoppable. Here's some funny moments. Donald Trump looking kind of weak on the sidelines, live tweeting, I'll be honest. Looking kind of like a catty. See, as he's getting ready to cough yet again into his right hand, the fake news media rushes him off the screen. Don't shake people's hands going out. He keeps coughing into his right hand.